Alright guys, Jameson, Alex here, bringing the next video to you guys. Today we're going to be talking about the Blood Hunter class.
Yes.
It is the closest thing to official without being official, because it's technically unofficial.
Yes, it says it in big red letters, all caps.
But it is fully functional and usable on D&D Beyond, and it's featured as well. So it's as close to being official as possible while still being unofficial.
Yes.
And if you're familiar, it was created by Matt Mercer, Critical Role. So it has a big following and probably been playtested much more than anything else has been playtested.
Probably.
So that's like I say again, it is as close to official as possible. So what we're basically going to do today is go through all the abilities, kind of give a review, our thoughts on all of the basic class abilities of the Blood Hunter, kind of how it functions, things like that. But also don't forget we have a giveaway going on for the D&D Beyond Players Bundle, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below to be entered in that. Good stuff on there.
We inch ever closer to that total. The faster you help us get there, the faster we to give stuff away.
Yes. So, just a quick background of the Blood Hunter.
Yes.
It is essentially the closest thing that I can think of to relate it to would be something along the lines of a Witcher.
Okay.
So
it's like, I didn't know he was going to go there, but I don't know where else he's going to go with it.
I think that's the first thought that everyone kind of goes to. Maybe like you could maybe say like a Van Helsing, kind of like a Monster Hunter kind of thing.
Yes.
Or even, if it's a little bit of a stretch, maybe, like an Illidan Storm Rage. Where you're like joining this, becoming a monster to fight monsters kind of deal going on, like a demon hunter. So it's a similar kind of
Grey Warden for you Dragon Age people out there. Same concept. All over the references today.
A good baseline flavor feel for how these work.
Yes.
So just starting off, we're going to jump straight into it with the basic stats and everything. You're going to have a D10 for your hit points.
Yep.
You have also on here proficiencies, light, medium armor, shields, simple martial weapons. You get your alchemist supply. You get your saving throws in dex and intelligence. And you get to choose 3 skills from athletics, acrobatics, arcana, history, insight, investigation, religion, and survival. So a nice little mix there, kind of flavorful with the tracking monsters and maybe trying to find stuff and knowing knowledge of them and things like that.
Other thing I want to mention on here that's listed up higher is multi-classing with Blood Hunter.
Yes.
Is you're required to have either strength or a dexterity score of 13 and an intelligence score of 13 because all of the magical effects are all based on your intelligence. All your saving throw stuff is based on that. So that's why it's a split stat that you got up to 13 for multi-classing. One
of those similar things where you're not a caster, but you have magical effects that you can use that are similar to casting.
Yeah,
almost like a warlock.
Way of the Four Elements monk.
Yeah, along those lines a little bit.
Kind of like that,
expending your resources to cast or use abilities that are similar to spells.
Yes. So, starting off with first abilities, we have the Hunter's Bane. And again, it's a ritual that how you become a Blood Hunter. That's basically essentially what it is.
Right.
You have advantage on survival checks to track Fae, Fiends, or Undead, as well as intelligence ability checks to recall information about them. Again, very much, Witcher thematic there. Hunter's Bane also empowers your body to control and shape hemocraft magic, using your own blood and life essence to fuel your abilities. And as I mentioned earlier, your hemocraft save DC is 8 plus proficiency plus your intelligence modifier.
Yes. So going along with that, it mentions the hemocraft die on there. That's a feature that is going to be something you're going to hurt yourself to gain extra additional bonuses with your different abilities.
Yes.
So some of them can be empowered with that. And then one of your main things that comes into play here with the Blood Maledics being another thing that you get at first level is one of the things that can be empowered by your Hemocraft die, one of many things. So with the Blood Maledics, you gain 1 blood curse of your choice, which we will detail at the end of the video because there's a lot to go through there. We'll keep it nice and short.
Yep.
But you can learn additional blood curses of your choice at level 6, 10, 14, and 18. So eventually you will have 5 different ones
which
that
is
you're able to know.
Roughly half of them?
I believe so, or close to it.
Yep.
Then when you use the Blood Maledict, you can choose to invoke it or amplify it by expending a Hemocraft die, and you deal damage to yourself equal to the Hemocraft die. At first level, it's a D4. At 5th level, it becomes a D6. At 11th level, it becomes a D8. And then at 17, it becomes a D10.
Yes.
So you're going to be hurting yourself more to gain extra features, but trust me, it's going to be worth it because a lot of these things are, the benefits outweigh the detriments of the
even
damage.
when it becomes a D10, on average, that's 6 damage. And for the effects you get, you taking 6 damage is not a huge deal.
Right. And then with the Blood Maledicts, when they're amplified, you can use the feature once with the Blood Maledicts, and then at 6th level, you can use it twice. At 13th level, you can use it 3 times, and at 17th level, you can use it 4 times. So, and that is renewed on short or long rest.
Right.
So it's kind of similar to like spell slots for warlocks. They have very limited uses,
yes,
but they do get them back on short rest.
You also get access to a couple of fighting styles starting at level 2. As with all the martial classes, you can choose between archery, dueling, great weapon fighting, or 2-weapon fighting. And we both kind of thought about there's 2 ideal ways to kind of play this. We think you got the 2-weapon fighting and dual wield because you can attack because you do get extra attack later at 5, and you can use your bonus action to attack a 3rd time technically, or doing the whole archery thing and doing again like the whole Van Helsing theme thing with the crossbow and dropping fools that way. Of course, again, do how you want to play it, obviously, because Witcher just uses 1 sword at a time. He's just got 2 swords, the one that's for people and one that's for not people. Yes. Also, at level 2, besides your fighting style, you do get the Crimson Right.
Another use for the Hemocraft die.
Yes, another use for Hemocraft die. So again, you're going to hurt yourself, but there's reasons for that. As a bonus action, you can activate a Crimson Right on a single weapon with the elemental energy of a known right of your choice that lasts until you finish a short or long rest, or if you aren't holding the weapon at the end of your turn. When you activate a right, you lose a number of hit points equal to 1 roll of your Hemocraft die, as shown on the table below. There, we've already discussed that. For the duration, the attacks of this weapon deal an additional 1d4 of the chosen right's damage. Damage is magical and increases as you gain levels as Blood Hunter, as shown on the column below again. You gain an additional Primal Right at 7 and an access to an Esoteric Right at 14. So, at 2, you're going to choose between fire, cold, and lightning damage, one of those 3. At 7, you're going to pick one of those remaining 2. Right. So if you went cold at 2 and then wanted to take fire at 7, great. Yep. So then at 14, you have the choice of one of necrotic, psychic, or thunder damage. And you only get access to one of those 3, and that is the end of that.
Yeah, essentially the difference between the primal and the esoteric is just they're more common damage types and more rare damage types.
Yeah.
And as you can tell already, if you're playing maybe your first session, this class is probably not going to be the best thing for your first go-around. It is a little bit more complicated than most of the other classes.
We haven't got past level 2 yet.
And yeah, mind you, this is only the base class, let alone the subclass options as well. So I would recommend if this is your first character to maybe avoid this because it's probably going to be a lot to understand.
Yeah.
But if you're more experienced and played some...
Or
if
you're a madman like I was in the first one-shot we did, this is what I went for.
You just go for it. If you really want to take some time to study and try to make sure you know all of your options and things available, there's that as well. But yeah, just the 2 different damage type categories on there for the Primal and Esoteric. Then at level 3, you're going to get access to a subclass. There are 4 different subclasses available. We will do individual videos reviewing and rating all of those subclasses individually, so we can go in depth on those because there's a lot going on in those different subclasses. It's the Order of the Ghost Slayer, the Order of the Profane Soul, the Order of the Mutant, or the Order of the Lycan. So those are nice things on there. And you're going to get abilities in those subclasses at level 3, 7, 11, 15, and 18.
Yep.
And then at level 4, you have your typical ability score improvement.
Yep.
Level 5, as Alex said, you have your extra attack. And then we get into your Brand of Castigation at level 6.
Love this.
Just another nice use of things on here. Whenever you damage a creature with your Crimson Right feature, and again, to remind you, when you activate it, you're going to be dealing damage to yourself.
Yep.
To be able to deal that extra damage every time you hit with something. So when you have the Crimson Right feature activated, you can sear and brand of Hammercrafted magic onto your target. You always know the direction of the branded creature, and each time the branded creature deals damage to you, or a creature within 5 feet of you, the creature takes psychic damage equal to your intelligence modifier. So probably not going to be the highest. You're probably going to want to stay with your strength or dex as your main
whichever
stat,
way you're attacking.
and intelligence as your second or third stat, depending on how tanky you want to be with your con.
Yeah, because if you're more rangy, you could definitely go dex intelligence con and be fine. Right. But if you're wanting to be more in there,
it's a little bit riskier. And then also your brand lasts until you dismiss it, or you apply brand to another creature. And the brand counts as a spell for the purposes of Dispel Magic, with the spell level being equal to half of your Blood Hunter level with a maximum of 9th level spell.
Yeah, so as you scale up, that's going to be hard to get rid of.
Yeah, you're going to have a good track on somebody. Yep. And it's usable once per short or long rest. So you get it back on those. So nice little way to do some tracking, very thematic, flavorful on there.
Indeed. At level 9, we get Grim Psychometry, and you have a supernatural talent for discerning the history of surrounding mysterious objects or places touched by evil. When you make a history check to recall information about a darker past surrounding an object you are touching or a location you are present in, you have advantage on the roll. The information gleaned often leads toward more sinister influences of the past, and sometimes conveys visions of things previously unknown to the character on higher rolls.
That's something that's really going to be on the DM's discretion there, because they have to keep that in mind when you're doing rolls, that based on this ability, they might give you more information than they would give another player that rolled the same amount.
Right, and then whether you choose to share that information is up to you.
Yes, so that's something you want to make sure you clarify with your DM as well. To maybe remind them, oh yeah, by the way, it says I can learn a little bit extra.
So and it's always dark and sinister stuff, because it makes sense. You're a blood hunter. Yeah. What you do? You brood.
Yes.
if Batman was a character. Also at 10, you have Dark Augmentation. Arcane blood magics suffuse your body. Permanently reinforces your resilience. Speed is increased by 5 feet. Don't know how that helps you with your resilience, but okay, fine. Whenever you make a strength, dexterity, or constitution saving throw, you gain a bonus to the saving throw equal to your intelligence modifier. Something else making use of your intelligence.
Yeah, it is actually pretty good. We found in our campaign, I have a magic item that I created that Alex has on his character. That gives him a D4. That gives him a D4 extra, and that can be make or break. So getting an extra 2 or 3.
I have succeeded on 60% of my saving throws by
it's a lot.
2 because of that D4.
Yeah, it's a huge difference to add like 2 or 3, even 4 to your
especially for saving throws you're not proficient in, and you're not a bard or a paladin.
Exactly.
So that's great.
Helps. Then at level 13 we have Brand of Tethering. The psychic damage from your Brand of Castigation increases to twice your intelligence modifier. So a little bit extra damage on there when you do use it. In addition, the branded creature can't take the dash action, and if the branded creature attempts to teleport or leave their current plane via spell, ability, or portal, they take 4d6 psychic damage and must make a wisdom saving throw. On a fail, the teleport or plane shift fails. So it turns your brand into a more utility option. They can't move around as well. They can't teleport. They can't misty step. It's going to make their life miserable if they've been blinking around the battlefield and then you hit them and mark them.
I'm imagining a Blood Hunter and a Horizon Walker Ranger just absolutely screwing up creatures that are from the wrong plane trying to get back home. It's like, nah, son.
Yeah, right. Then at 14, we have Hardened Soul. You have advantage on saving throws against being charmed and frightened.
And finally, at level 20, we have Sanguine Mastery. Once per turn, whenever a Blood Hunter feature requires you to roll your Hemocraft die, you can choose to re-roll the die and choose which result to use. So just trying to minimize the damage you take from using your own abilities. In addition, whenever you score a critical hit with a weapon attack empowered by your Crimson Right, you regain 1 expended use of your Blood Maledict feature.
Yeah, pretty solid. Yeah. And again, another thing to keep in mind too here is with the Crimson Right, it says it's activated. It stays activated until you take a short rest, but you have to keep it in your hand. So you could theoretically, out of combat, ignite like 2 weapons, but you have to keep them in your hand since they can't end your turn without it in your hand. So you can't like walk. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to walk around town with a flaming daggers that might cause some stares.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do. Depending on the circumstance, maybe it'll be really intimidating. But something to keep in mind as well, where you kind of just have them ready, so you don't have to maybe burn bonus actions in combat. You can have them already ready ahead of time. You just have to. Or if your DM lets you maybe have your hands on, like sheath, but your hands on it, or something, just walking around,
So you're just jumping. You're ready to go.
Yeah. Something to keep in mind, just to have that available. And then with the last thing we have on here is the major thing. Alex is going to try to take over this part here and try to keep it as concise as possible. We have the Blood Curses. Now, these are the features that are for the Blood Maledicts that you get multiple uses per short rest eventually. And they're the big feature. There's a fly in my eyes. Anyways, that they're going to be able to be a big utility option for your base class on here.
There are a total of 12 Blood Curses. I said it was almost half when we said 5. I was like, I couldn't remember if it was 10 or 11 or 12. And there's also one specific to each subclass.
Correct. Yes.
The other 8 can be used by any of the subclasses.
And I believe they get that at level 15. Is a specific one for each subclass.
With the exception of the Lycan one.
The Lycan one.
And Profane Soul are both at 18. So there you go. They're all the way at the end.
They're they're the higher end tier.
Both. For 15, 15, 18, 18.
Yeah.
So, and what we're going to do, we're going to put these up on the screen. So if you guys want to pause and read them in more detail, great. I'm going to try to do shorthand so you get the point of what's going on. Don't spend too far reading all these in detail. Got it. Blood Curse of the Ancient. Bonus action. Make one creature have advantage on intimidation checks against it for 1 round. If you choose to amplify it, target has disadvantage on its next wisdom saving throw before the curse ends. Blood Curse of Binding. Bonus action. Strength saving throw for the target or have its speed reduced to 0 and have no reactions for 1 round. Amplify it lasts for a minute. They can do a strength saving throw again at the end of every turn to try to end the curse.
And as a reminder again, too, when you're amplifying it, you're expending one of your Human Craft dice. You're hurting yourself to make it stronger.
Yes.
Just as a reminder.
Make it more potent. Makes sense. Blood Curse of Bloated Agony. Bonus action. Target has disadvantage on strength and dexterity ability checks and takes 1d8 necrotic damage on if it tries to multi-attack for 1 round. So if it attacks once, it's fine. If it tries to swing a second time, it's going to take flat damage, no save for it. If you amplify it, it lasts 1 minute, and the Constitution saving throw every turn to try to end that curse. Blood Curse of Corrosion. This is the specific one for Order of the Mutant. Bonus action, target becomes poisoned, period.
That's pretty good.
Constitution saving throw at the end of each of its turns to end the curse, but it is poisoned for its first turn for sure. And if you amplify it, target takes 4d6 necrotic damage on when the curse first hits, and every time it fails a saving throw, it's going to just keep taking 4d6 necrotic damage.
Yeah, so that's pretty solid. To be able to,
if you can find something that's got a lower constitution, ow.
Yeah, that's going to be one too. Maybe you want to put if you're in that subclass, maybe you want to think about getting the intelligence up higher and make the save higher.
Yeah,
as well.
For sure. Blood Curse of the Exorcist is the one specifically for Ghost Slayer. Bonus action, end a charmed, frightened, or possession on a creature.
That's a unique thing.
So that's specifically the possession thing. That's a very uncommon, very rare ability, but is bonkers when it happens. In fact, you can just end it.
Yeah, it's
pretty cool.
Very situational, but very powerful when it
yes.
work.
If you amplify it, the source of the condition takes 3d6 psychic damage, flat, no save, but it is forced to make a wisdom saving throw. If it fails, it is stunned until the end of your next turn.
Yeah, stunned. Nice. Nice.
Juicy. Blood Curse of Exposure takes your reaction until the end of the turn. Target loses resistance to the damage types of chosen attack or spell. I emphasize types, plural. If you amplify it, target loses invulnerability to damage types of the chosen attack or spell and gains resistance instead. So they're going from half damage to full damage or from no damage to half damage. And I choose attack or spell and I say damage types because immediately I think of my cleric spell that I have access to, say like a paladin spell. Destructive Wave does both radiant and thunder damage, or necrotic and thunder damage. So it would actually affect both of those damage types, not just the one damage type.
Right.
Important. Blood Curse of the Eyeless. Reaction, you roll your Hemocraft die, subtract that amount from the attack roll. You can use this once you know what is rolled, before you know if it actually hits the target or what the damage being done. Can affect targets immune to blindness, so that's important to know as well. If you amplify it, the curse is applied to all of the target's attacks until the end of the current turn. Re-roll each time. So if you know a target's got 4 attacks, you want to amplify it so all the attacks get cut against it. It works. You got to amplify it to get all the multi-attacks.
Yes.
Blood Curse of the Fallen Puppet. Uses a reaction. This one's super niche, but just kind of funny. When a creature falls to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to make it take 1 attack within its range. If you amplify it, move the target half its movement speed, and you get to add your intelligence modifier to that attack roll. It's like as it's dying, it just fires one last shot at somebody of choice. That's kind of fun. Blood Curse of the Howl, of course, Order of the Lycan, only, makes sense. This one takes an action. It's the only one of the 12 that takes your action to do. There's a reason for that. Creatures of choice within 30 feet make a wisdom saving throw or be frightened of you until the end of their next turn. Anyone that fails the saving throw by 5 or more, and I love when that kind of feature is used, is stunned as well. Can only affect a target once per day. If you amplify, the range increases to 60 feet radius. That's huge.
Yes, it's pretty cool on there for sure.
You got 3 left. You have Blood Curse of the Marked. Takes your bonus action. Target creature is marked. Until the end of your turn, roll the right damage twice. So anytime you hit with your right, it's basically like it's a crit for as far as the right damage is concerned. Right. And if you amplify, your next attack on your current turn has advantage. Fish for crits. Love it. Blood Curse of the Muddled Mind. This one is also super interesting and unique. Bonus action, curse a creature currently concentrating on a spell. The target has disadvantage on Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration on that spell. If you amplify it, the target has disadvantage on all Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration until the end of your next turn. So, to explain this one to make sure everybody gets it, the first part of it only affects the spell they're currently concentrating on. If you amplify it, they decide to try to concentrate on another spell on their next turn, and somebody else pops them again, it's going to affect that one as well until the end of your next turn. So that's the very specific thing with that one. And finally, Blood Curse of the Soul Eater, which is for profane soul only, uses a reaction. When a non-construct or undead creature falls to 0 hit points, you can get advantage on your weapon attacks until the end of your next turn. If you amplify it, you regain an expended Warlock spell slot. Curse can only be used once per day. And this is the only one of those like that, where it's a once per day thing.
Yep. So as you can see here, there's lots of utility options available, and the ability to amplify them is pretty cool for a lot of them. And again, there's pretty much no reason, I would say, for most of these not to amplify them. There's very few situations where you wouldn't want to try to amplify them, because again, the benefits that you're going to be giving to it is going to far outweigh the 2, 4, 6 damage that you're going to take back for most of these. Though if you're going to die, that's one of those circumstances as well. But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot going on here. I think the main thing in my thought process here to compare to is there's almost like invocations. For a Warlock, you have lots of different options available.
But you only pick so many of them.
Right, exactly. So it's very comparable in the way to how the Warlock works. I think this base class, the way it's built, is nothing that's overpowered by any means. I think it does fall in very fair in its build base, I should say, because the subclass is going to build on top of the foundation that this lays. So definitely very interesting, very thematic, very flavorful class, especially if you wanted to get into something that's along the lines of a Witcher type or a Van Helsing or a Monster Hunter of some kind. So let's just kind of fill in that role.
The other thing that a comment I made when we were first discussing this before we started recording was that this is a class I think that actually does scale very well. So like it's some of the other base classes, especially some subclasses, the way they're geared for each base class, they're really top heavy. We make them really, really good for dips, for multi-classing. With this one, it actually does scale pretty well, because as you get further into your levels, you're getting not only more choices for blood curses to use, but you're getting to use them more often.
Correct.
So by the time you get to 15, for example, if you get that far, you've got 3 uses per short rest of your blood curse, and you've got access to 4 of the possible 5 blood curses you could get eventually. So that's a lot of different combinations and choices. It gives you a lot of flexibility. You could have 4 blood hunters in your party that could each be playing completely different in terms of the different subclasses and the different blood curses to play around and how play style they want to do.
Right, and that's not even including the scaling of the Hemocraft die as you level up as well.
Which so that part scales as well.
Right, so definitely lots of cool stuff on here, but I think we're just going to wrap it up there, guys. It's a good point there. So make sure you stay tuned for the individual subclass videos.
There's 4 of them.
Go through all of those as well, give our thoughts, and we're going to review them as we do with normal subclass videos that we do on the channel, with the roleplay, combat, and synergy values that we're going to rate. But yeah, so just stay tuned. We got lots of stuff coming for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, when our new videos are coming out. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.